Like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
All right.
With you.
So,
we're totally with you. Okay.
All right. Wait. So hold up.
Easy. Monday.
27.
Easy.
Johnny. I'm stuck on the whole walking through
80s, so
Harlem.
she was like a Molly Ringwald to me. Like, if you know anything about the John Hughes movies.
I won $100 million.
Oh God.
I disappeared.
I got it. No, I know this is why it works. Because there is a way. They do not. Like,
Easy. Hey.
I love that intro.
I do too. Welcome to season 2 of Easy Monday Motivation. It is your homeboy E with the crew that makes things happen. And we always get it popping. Checking in. What's going on, CT and Johnny My Liege? How are y'all doing today?
I'm excited about this episode.
Are you now?
Yes. I'm ready to dive in.
That's a big difference from our last episode when you were very worried and nervous.
I was about to leave. I was about to quit.
I was about to say, that's not a big difference. Okay. So let's checking in. So we're checking with you, CT. How you doing, man? How you doing? How you been? You know, we celebrated your birthday last week or the week before, but what's been going on, man?
Man, every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm living. Every day I'm waking up trying to be better than I was the day before. Some days I get it right. Some days I get it righter. But we never get it wrong.
Oh, I like that. Good.
I came ready for y'all today. I came ready for this pie. What do you say? No questions off limits. I'm here for it. Let's do this.
I am hoping so, because we're gonna find the ambrosia in all of this as well. Johnny My Liege checking in. How you doing? How you been?
Oh, fantastic. Feeling so good about the kickoff to this season. And just, January is not my favorite month, y'all. I don't know if I should share that with y'all. January is not my favorite month. So doing things like this, having conversations like this with y'all just brings me right back to where I need to be. So I appreciate our time together.
We're gonna jump into why January don't resonate with you. We'll have a calendar conversation at some point to figure out what days people like and don't like and what months and weeks and stuff. Because I don't always get the stigma that things that are like these are just words. Somebody made a word and called it January. Like it could have been something else, but January got no love. It's okay, because that's the reason why we started Easy Monday Motivations, because we wanted Monday to be better for people. So we're fighting against the system. Okay, no.
Let's do it.
Because we haven't yet in season 2 illuminated the idea that every day is Friday.
It's Friday.
Every day is Friday.
That is true. We are 3 episodes in and we have not hashtag every day is Friday. You know what? We apologize, motivationers, because we forgot to give you the motivation to enjoy every day as if it was Friday. That is on us. We are slacking in our macking and slipping in our pimping. But we gonna get this. We gonna get our strong hands together and we gonna put this baby powder on and we gonna make it fly. So, and that's a how. So we'll keep going. So today's I'm good, guys. It's good to, as always, I love checking in with you guys every week. This is where my therapy sessions come, and this is where I can let my chaos actually reign, and like you guys reign in my chaos a little bit. So like I can let my chaos flag fly here. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually going to create my own AOC Agent of Chaos flag that I'm going to fly. It's gonna be associated with with the podcast. It'd be like a sub podcast. Like y'all got your own segments. Mine's gonna be the Agent of Chaos conversation.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be talking crazy to people.
Oh gosh.
I'm only taking people under the age of 6, and I'm only answering questions about Santa. So, just playing. All right.
I'm letting them know.
Santa Satan. Y'all know how we did last season. Santa got the ringer last season. So
all kids' hopes and dreams.
That's right. We do the Easter Bunny. I mean, I'm hitting every major holiday this year. If there's something you want your kids to know, bring them into the Agent of Chaos conversation. I'm just gonna tell them. Yeah, no, we'll get banned real fast.
Yeah.
That feels like a "What Would Grandma Do" segment. Like chaos might need to be a word at some point in this
Got
season.
to.
I don't think Grandma want to rock with the chaos.
Oh no.
All right, so we are doing things a little different this season. Season 2, we kicked it off by doing interviews so people can get a better grasp of who we are, who are they talking to, who's motivating them. We had this idea in our strategy session where we wanted to kind of like interview each other. In today's episode, we have made it to the culmination of the intros of Easy Monday Motivation Season 2, and we are finished in January with having the most prominent conversation of the season. We trying to interview my main man, CT, aka what's the name? Go ahead, pull it up, man.
Come on.
The
Where's the music,
chocolate
though?
drop. Where's the music? Let's put up our chocolate drop music. Anyway, it goes. It's probably some Barry Manilow or John Mayer or something. Like we've got something smooth that's coming up. Coming up. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be interviewing CT, the chocolate drop. Just know you're going to find out everything you need to know about what makes him pop. My main man, CT, the chocolate drop. That's right. All right. Kill the music. All right, we're going to do we about to go in and do an interview. So what we wanted to do again is to make sure that we had the ability to be able to connect with you guys directly. And one way we wanted to do is by playing around with the concept of doing interviews. Johnny in my interviews were crazy. I enjoyed them. We had a lot of fun. Just know, you know what I'm saying? We fluffed it up. It was amazing. And I will be sliding fluff into every single episode.
Why don't let people in?
Yeah.
I mean, you ain't gotta let nobody in. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what? You remember when you went to school and you were signing up for certain classes? Certain classes they was like are called fluff classes. We ain't doing no fluff classes this year. We doing all hardcore straight to the, all right, I ain't mean to get you.
I'll turn off my camera and just leave.
Don't do that. All right.
I'll just play it.
So we have the opportunity to be able to talk to the man, the myth, the guy with the gift, the homeboy CT, and we got some questions for you. So Johnny, my liege, I'll go ahead and kick it over to you to start with our questions.
Oh goodness. Yes, I love that I'm the first one. CT.
Yeah.
CT, you did such a good job of just describing who he is. CT is the man. So if anyone does not know, to all our easy motivationers, CT is the man.
But I gotta add something. He is the man and in demand. That's right. Okay.
And in demand. He really, really is. Because you motivate other people. Like you get people recharged, you get them excited to see what's next, to move forward. Sometimes you see things in people that they don't see in themselves. So my first question to you is pretty simple. Like, what recharges you? You give so much of yourself to everybody. And I'll say this, like walking around like in the hallway with him, he's being we couldn't even get to where we was going. We was like, oh, guess what?
I know.
Right. But he gives that attention to everybody he comes in contact with, and you're never any different. Sometimes people may run across me and be like, oh, she was in a mood today, but not you. Like, so what recharges you? How do you do that all the time?
Oh man, that is such an what's the word I want to say? Loaded question. Like, and it's not loaded in the sense that Johnny. I'm stuck on the whole walking through the hallways thing because you two, like, it's just the three of us together sometimes. Yeah. But what recharges me? I am at the core of who I am a man of faith. And at the beginning and the end and the middle of me is my relationship with the Lord. I can do and am nothing without him. So if you want to truly understand the core of Christopher Thompson, growing up, I grew up in a very religious/spiritual home. Our every day, like we didn't listen to secular music, y'all. Like you had gospel music in the house. You had Christian music running through the house. I had scriptures as a foundation for how I like lived my life. Like the books that we read were in school and the Bible. Like that's just how I grew up. And so at the heart of who I am, my name means Christopher means follower of Christ, right? So to the extent that my name, I am a representative of my name. And when I think about what Christ was, Johnny, you helped us better understand you through this word called love last week. And this week, if you want to understand me, I believe Christ is, and the Bible says he is love. I want to be the living manifestation and representation of love, but not in the sense that I want to show and express love, but I want to show up and be present with you and love you in the way you need to be loved. While I'm not 100% perfect in that, it is my heart's desire every time I show up and I'm present with another human being. I want them to feel the love that is inside of me being expressed to them. It could be a smile. It could be a question I ask. It could be maybe a push that they need, whatever it is. I think you guys have heard me even in last season talk about being present and my ability to be present and to show up with a smile and show up with what people need. And Johnny, what's funny is that as I am growing, as I am developing, as I am finding what used to fuel me, those things aren't as good. If I could use this analogy, I am a premium vehicle. And when I am maneuvering through life, I need premium gas. And what I have found, Johnny and E, in my life is that when I'm lethargic, when I am frustrated, when I am annoyed, when I'm anxious, it's because I'm putting in unleaded fuel. What does unleaded fuel look like? Anxiety, stress, other people's issues and problems. What does unleaded fuel look like? Relationships that I kept too long and I'm hanging on to them for a reason that might not be good for me, because the road that I have to take next needs the very best fueling possible. And to be clear, y'all, each of you, this pod is premium fuel to me. I felt a little bit lethargic because I hadn't gotten my easy Monday motivation. I'd had my Johnny time. I had my E time. I had my Cam time. And every time I'm with you all, I feel energized. I feel recharged. I feel like I can conquer the world because the premium people I'm around, the premium experience that I'm having, you all are motivating me, energizing me so that I can be the very best of who I am in the places that I get to go and where I have to go. So what charges me today? The pod, what charges me today, knowing about the future, what energizes me today is recognizing that I've got to make some changes when I recognize I'm not at my best. And all I got to do is look at what am I putting in? What's the intake? Who are the people I'm hanging around with? And then I have to make a decision to change that. So hopefully that answer gives context for me, but like at the heart of who I am, that's CT.
Yeah, that was good.
I think it says a lot, about you when you speak to the fact that you want to be able to go out and give love, and that your roots are that of I would say, in the church, definitely connected to Christ, and you walk in that purpose.
Yes.
I would want to ask you give so much love, but there are those people who love you and they give you their love, and their love fuels you as well. CT, you're a husband and a father, and you have family. Who are those people who are most pivotal in your life that you love, that give you love, that mean the most to you?
The first
big shout out to Mel.
I was gonna say, like,
big shout out to Mel.
Mind, like, even if somebody else came to mind, clearly right now, the first person we need to talk about, because he's listening, is Miss Melanie. And like, to be clear, it is Melanie. 25 years married. My son asked me, he's getting our oldest son is getting married in May this year. And he and I had an occasion a couple weeks ago to be driving somewhere. I had to do something for my university, and he drove me down, so he was with me, etc. And he said, Pops, he said, how have you been married for 25 years to the same person?
Mhm.
Right? It's a legit question, right?
Yes.
And my answer has been, and my answer still is, I have been, I am, and always will be committed to the commitment I made to God and to her.
Yeah.
No matter how hard it is, no matter how great it is, because the roller coaster of life, the roller coaster of marriage, the roller coaster of relationships, like if you don't have rooted in you the commitment that you said, I'm going to do a thing, and then do that thing, I, I am that guy. Like if I tell you I'm going to do something, like, and I'm committed to that, I'm going to do that thing. And some people don't love how I do it, because when I'm committed to getting that thing done, there's not much is going to keep me from making sure that that thing gets done. The gift, though, is that I work really hard to make sure other people are engaged and involved in how we get the thing done. So when you talk about like my why, is what I feel like you asked me, is Melanie, Christian, Caleb, Kennedy are my why. Melanie is the start of that why, because she and I are connected at the arm and at the rib, if I can say it that way. And when I said yes to her and she said yes to me, like I meant that till death. I meant that no man bring us under. And so my very best way of showing up in the world is when I can have a singular focus on what we call the Thompson Five. When the Thompson Five is good,
Yeah.
the world is good. But the Thompson Five isn't always good, right?
Yeah.
And so it isn't always that their love, excuse me, my love to them has to show up in a way where they have to reciprocate that. My love is not conditional. My love for them isn't that, well, as long as you're doing this for me, I'm going to love you back. Or as long as you're loving me this way, I'm going to love you back. That's not how I establish the conditions around the exchange. I'm not looking for reciprocity in my love. I'm looking for a love that's going to extend who I am, what I have to give, no matter what it is. Doesn't mean I'm perfect in it, but the goal, the focus, the intent is always that I'm giving that out. And the kind of love I get back from Melanie, nobody else gives me that kind of love. There's nobody else in the world. Like you could say, well, Jesus did, but that's not what this pod is. Like you asked me, the people, the person, Melanie, nobody else gives me that kind of love back. Our children are so very different. and now that they are adults, like how we connect with them. I had an opportunity to be in the pool with my daughter the other day, and here's a secret about Chris. My daughter and I, we have nicknames for each other. My boys, we do not. My daughter and I, we have nicknames for each other, and so we have this really unique and authentic relationship. So you know what? Let's do season 2. So season 2. So we're sitting there in the pool. We're just having fun, hanging out. My wife was in doing something. She was like, "Hey, mom, come here." She said, "Mom, come here." She's like, "Why you messing with my man?" My daughter said that to my wife. She was like, "Why you messing with my man?" And my wife had the broom in her hand, and she grabbed the broom and she walked over. She was just like, "What you say?" Like it's like that exchange is so rich, right? Like the love that I get from my daughter, the love I get from my wife, and then the things that I'm able to do with my sons is just the most incredible. No words can describe how important and valuable that is to me. But all of the experiences I have with them and all the things that they go through and they've gone through actually gives insight, so that I am able to go out and be what I need to be to people who are outside of that Thompson Five, because they teach me how to be a better me, because nobody sees me more than they see me. And the parts that I don't want to show the rest of the world, they get to see. And so that's what love really shows up in its real and most authentic form. So, for me, I appreciate the question, because my why is my family, and that crew is I'd give my life for them. And I do give my life for them. And how I do that is making sure that there's provision in a home, making sure that when they need me, I'm there for them. But it doesn't mean that they get everything. They just get what is needed and necessary, because I'm no longer public service announcement, even if they're listening and they know this, I'm no longer parenting. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there is a gradual phase you must go through. I'm now a consultant, and as a consultant, I provide wisdom. I provide answers if they ask, but their lives are their own. And so now, as a consultant versus a parent, I'm not directing anything that happens in their lives. I'm just a spectator. And when they need my help, assistance, and support, we will provide that. But it's on our conditions. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Easy.
Parenting 101.
Parenting 101. Hey, listen, I 100% agree. Like I'm like, my son graduates in May, and then I told him, I said, son, you graduate, and then it's popcorn. He's like, what do you mean popcorn? I was like, yeah, like when you talk to me about stuff and I don't have to worry about it anymore, I just go get the popcorn and listen because it's more like entertaining now. I'm like, oh my God, that's happening. And I just listen. So yeah. Big
delicious. Tell me more.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, popcorn.
I love it.
Okay, Johnny, I'll pass it over to you. Your question.
Oh my gosh. I had like 3 or 4 more questions pop into my head as you were talking, but I want to ask this one real quick. I'm a daddy's girl. He's my daddy, right? I mean, I really look up to my dad. We have the best conversations. So I know what that relationship means between a father and a daughter. It's a sacred relationship. How did having a daughter change you?
How did having a daughter change me? Wow. I always thought I was empathetic. I always thought I had a view of the world that was right. Because again, we had 2 kids, and and both of them being boys, and so there was a perspective that I had about the world, about life, and that little girl showed up in the world, and just like nothing was what it used to be. Like
chaos.
Thank you. Chaos, literal internal chaos, and the running joke, for most fathers who are this way, it's you love that little girl more. She can get away with anything. Kind of, you never want to say that out loud so that people can hear it, but it's true. And some of it had more to do with a new level of responsibility to model something different. Like for with our sons, I was modeling what one might define as manhood, in how you think about how you treat people, when you think about responsibility, when you think about and I don't like the term provision in this context, but I'll use it for our conversation. Like how I wanted our sons to see the world was one thing, but when our daughter showed up, I wanted her to have a irresponsible view of what if she was going to have a young man in her life. I wanted it to be impossible for him to compare to dad. Yeah. So that she had an expectation and a level that anything that that person would be bringing to the conversation had to equal or be better. And I'm not easy to be better than. And that doesn't always work. Was what I had in my head. It doesn't always work that way. But I still have this idea that nobody is going to love you more than I do. The very first diamond she got came from me. And the first opportunity she had to cry in somebody's arms, that was me. The first time she needed to have a deep dialogue and conversation where there needed to be real trust, right, because of something she was going through in her life, it was me. There was a time in our lives where my wife, we were co-located for a little while, and I had our daughter, and she what do they call that when a woman enters that season of her life, when she moves into puberty? I was there by myself. It scared me to death. I was like, what am I supposed to do in this moment? Because mom wasn't physically there. Mom was there, but mom, we were moving, and some amazing women who were in the community where we live in Atlanta were available and around, and so that helped. But I was like, I was there. And I think when I think about my relationship with our daughter and how it changed me, the world just got flipped upside down because I didn't know it. I'd seen it right through my sisters, but I didn't know it. And so I think it was the grace of God who let and continues to allow me to get through some of that, because it's much easier to right with our sons, right? And yeah, she can do wrong, but she can do no wrong all at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know the feeling.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, yeah, yeah. I don't know nothing about daughters, nothing at all, because like I equate it to this. Y'all know who Superman is, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you know what Superman's weakness is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kryptonite.
Kryptonite. It's like Superman asking for kryptonite. That's what I equate it to, because I'm like, I know I get it. Like when my sons, I was able to go, hey, I'm teaching you manhood. I'm being an example for this.
Yeah.
With a daughter, everything you said makes 100. I agree. I get it. But I'm like, yeah, nah, that's kryptonite, because to your point, she can cut to the core of you way faster than anybody else. Yeah, that's woo.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the fathers with daughters out here. Yeah, because I know how hard that is. I mean, I feel like I'm a good father, but when it comes to like a daughter, like, yeah, nah, Eric wasn't designed that way. Now, would I have been a good father if I had a daughter? Yeah, I mean, I would be the weakest father, strongest, weakest father. I'd be putty in her hand, and I'd be a jerk to everybody else, but she would get the 100% butterfly version of Eric every day. So yeah, I don't want that. I don't want nobody to have that in me. I don't want that. No, like no, nobody's have access to that. No, that's not chaos.
Yeah, I remember my dad and I were talking about just our relationship, and he said, man, you were a little girl and you came with some questions and talking to me and asking me questions. And he said, there was no baby talk. He said, so I just did what I knew how to do. He said, I had to take it to the street, and I was just real with you. He said, I had to come real with you, like I was talking to, a grown person, but he valued our relationship so much that he didn't want to sugarcoat it. He wanted, and so still to this day. So that's why I wanted to ask that question, because I know it's just such a sacred relationship. Yeah. Such a beautiful relationship. Mm-hmm.
And listen, I'm not shy to say she's my favorite child, right? Our sons.
My dad says the same thing. Yes.
Listen, like, everybody talking to people like, I'm not saying that I have a favorite child. I am. Yeah. I am. Yeah. And it doesn't diminish my love, my care, my respect, doesn't diminish the other children. There's just something rich. And I think it is a God-designed thing that helps you, right? And the level of empathy I have in the world and how I show up with the level of empathy, I think that comes out of the relationship with my daughter and some of the things that she's experienced and what we've had to experience with her. Without question, she is a gift from the Lord. So
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
You can
comment in the comments all you want to. I'm not changing my answer.
Look, I don't want you to change your answer. It only confirms my, if you go back to my episode, it only confirms my point of being a middle child, where they're like, really? He your favorite? Right. He is him. And all of that. That's your favorite? Yeah, okay. Watch me. I'm gonna go one up your favorite, so that way you can look real bad for having a favorite that's not the best. Okay. Yeah. That's the type of kid I would have been. I'd have been like, yes. Oh, you choosing him, huh? Nah, like I'd have been your son. Like, you choosing her? Okay, watch this. Harvard. Valedictorian. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Okay, she's still your favorite? Okay, all right. Aerospace science. Astronaut. I'm on another planet and she's still your favorite? Okay. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
We'd have pushed that all the way. I'd have been like, I got the Infinity Gauntlet. I'm about to snap away half the world. She's still your favorite? Okay.
You know what the answer would be? The answer would be, that's exactly what you needed to motivate you to be all of those things. Because you wasn't her.
Now that's the dad. That's the dad right there.
That is the dad. That is the dad right there. And look, Johnny, as the boy with the Infinity Gauntlet, you like, why'd you just tell me you love me, man? I'm about to kill everybody.
That was a dad answer for sure. It really was. I love it.
Okay. All right. So I wanna cut to my question is about some of the things that make CT who he is. It's like I've had some chances to rock with you outside of our professional space, and I'm gonna push you outside of our professional space right now because I the person outside of work is who I'm a lot more interested in. Because yes, I've got to see you personally, and a lot of people don't. But there's a whole nother side of CT. There's like, to me, I'm not calling it the dark side. Because you're already the chocolate drop. We wouldn't say there's a darker side to chocolate. Yeah, we can't get darker than the chocolate drop. But there's some aspects to you. There's some things about you that, you know, that people don't know. I know that you're a connoisseur of, you know, fine bourbons and whiskeys. I do know that you do like cigars. I do know you like golf. What are some other things that are just some staple loves of CT that people just don't really know?
Yeah.
I know I gave a couple, but you know.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I don't think I'm a private person, but I am a intentionally strategic person.
Yeah.
And that I
the word is curate. That's called curate. That's what it is.
So that you know what? Let me do it
this Big
way.
Brother.
Yeah. So it used to be that I did not mix my worlds. Quite literally, there was the personal world that you saw, and then there was the professional world. Even as I used to do some advice on how you maneuver through social media, right? And what you do to ensure you can keep your worlds separated. I do think that as our world has changed and the access to information, and most specifically when we went through the pandemic, I do have a fundamental core belief that whether it is this generation or others, people are looking for meaning and purpose. And a part of what they're needing to do is not separate themselves. It's exhausting. It's tiring.
Yeah.
Because you have to be one thing in one world and another thing in another world. And it created this bipolar way of living your life.
Yes.
And I think people can't be the best of who they are as a bipolar person showing up one way, having to, in our corporate spaces, say code switch and expect that you are going to have deep and meaningful relationships, connections, and that your life had depth and meaning. So I've started to integrate the worlds. And so to the extent, I love a good cigar here and there, especially when I'm on vacation. Back in 2020, I discovered bourbon. Yeah. I'm less of its friend today than I was back during the pandemic, but I still love a good old fashioned everywhere I go. Literally, when I travel, every new place that I go to, and I did a little exercise last year. My wife and I are foodies, but in all of the travels, I went to 138 different restaurants or eateries last year, and all of them who have an old fashioned, I will try their old fashioned. To be clear, we don't need the cherry, and it must be a cube. If when you are with me, you want people to know something. If you're with me and you bring me an old fashioned and it has all of those ice cubes, I will literally take out the ice cubes with a spoon or a fork and put them in another glass because you can't water down my old fashioned like that. There's information that people may not know about me. I think when I think about the core of me too, I sing. I haven't sang in a while, but I sing.
You sing on the podcast, like you sing on the podcast.
Every once in a while, I'll let that come out. But I used to lead praise and worship at a church. Back in 2006, one of my bucket list things was to do a demo CD. I did a demo CD, so I love singing. Most people who have any connection to me and folks that are on Facebook know I did hip hop fitness for a little while. So I love to exercise. I love to be healthy. And I think that anytime people request that I do hip hop, or any time people request that I sing, I let them know I'm retired from those things, unless it is a very specific and special occasion. And this one is not one. Thank you so much.
How convenient.
We can find a reason, but I do say that I am a deeply complex person. And I'd like to show up in a world in a simple way, but the depth of how I want to be simple sometimes messes people up because I'm a deep thinker. I believe that there are layers to everything and that you haven't reached the truth of a thing unless you're dealing in the roots or what I would call the core. And when you're in that, whether no matter what it is, you can take me to places that I just love to like dive into and can get lost in.
Yeah.
And if I'm having a glass of old fashioned with a cigar next to me, sitting in the pool, doing that, watching sports, or listening to a podcast like Easy Monday Motivation, those are the things that I think I do that help bring joy to my life. And then last and certainly not least, I think better, I hear better, I enjoy life better when we are at a beach. Without question, sand versus snow is the priority. And anytime you can get me sitting out by the noise of the ocean crashing with the waves is just a sweet spot for my life. So I don't know if that gives as much insight as you was looking for, E, but I think that's the perspective I will provide for this.
Actually gave me a lot of insight. So I'm very thankful for you to be able to share that with us. I mean, I have more questions that I'll ask, but I'll let them slide today because we're gonna pull these things out of each other as time goes on throughout the seasons. Because at some point, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna have to put ourselves in a room together and do some of these things, or we may be doing it on location where we're like, oh, the Easy Monday Motivational team is in Vegas this week, and we're doing, you know what I'm saying, the show's coming from Vegas, and we're gonna be telling the story.
Come on.
Or who knows? I mean, we may be destined to do it in Florida at some point.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to Johnny, my liege, for her next question.
Oh goodness. Okay, so you share with us you are a deep thinker, which we all know that anyway, right? I mean, you can go really deep on us, and I love it. What is a lesson that life continues to teach you over and over again, CT?
What is a lesson that life continues to teach me?
Like it keeps showing up.
That's a great question, Johnny.
Just when you think you got it, it shows up in a different way. You're like, daggone it, here it is again.
They keep rearing its ugly little head.
Yeah, and you're like, God, I thought I learned it. You're like, well, you got some more to do. And you're like,
I just want you to know that I love the Goonies, but I didn't want to be Chunk.
I was waiting for the opportunity to allow my co-star to join me.
No.
That's what I went to your question, Johnny.
No. That's my thinking of lessons when they keep showing up too. No, I'm done. I'm done learning about myself.
So, since we promised to answer all the questions that we're asked on this pod, I think that the consistent one is that, and I may have said this before, I don't know, but relationships are king to me. Like relationships are so deeply important to me, and that a lesson that I continue to learn is that if I misappropriate that relationship, it will cost me more than it will cost them. Which means that some people exist in your life to help solve for need. Once the need has been provided, you must reevaluate their existence. I think we talked about this on one of our pods, but it keeps showing up in relationships. We had something that popped up today in a relationship that we haven't had connectivity to in a while, but something transpired recently that had nothing to do with us, but we're now impacted by it. And now it's just like, okay, don't give that energy because that was gone. That was a past thing. You appropriated it correctly when you moved it into this file. Just because it's showing up now doesn't mean you got to dive back in.
Well,
It
that's
just
the
meant,
hard
right? It's the hard part. It was just like, but why is it coming back up? And what do we need to do with it? No, no, you no. If it showed back up, then it was a flash. And if it
part.
needs to be there, then there's some work that you need to do to it and to really understand, is there something that I asked for, or is there something that I currently need, that relationship now being back in it means I need to re-engage, but then I need to reevaluate it again to
Yeah.
ensure that if they're there to provide a particular thing that helps me accomplish what it is that I'm accomplishing today. You two jokers showed up
Mhm.
just when I needed you
Mhm.
to show up,
Mhm.
because I've been praying for something. Like
Mhm.
I wanted to be a participant in, and I wanted to engage in life in a particular way, just say a podcast.
Yep.
And others who had been around, nothing happened.
I know.
And now we're in season 2.
Yes.
Right? So the relationship that I had with you all, let's go back 4 years, 5 years. Who would have thought that our relationship then would equal what it is today? I didn't misappropriate you all, nor did you me. We stayed connected and aligned in the thing we were assigned to do with each other at that time. The assignment changed, but our relationship did not. It's only increased. I didn't get rid of y'all. Y'all didn't get rid of me just because the work we were doing at that time was over, right? So you have to continue to evaluate, what's the relationship? Should they be there? Shouldn't they be there? Are they regular gas? Are they premium gas? Like where are you in your life? And so the
Ooh,
thing I keep learning is that I am in a constant place of evaluation around the relationships that I have. Who is there? What energy am I giving into it? What am I receiving back? Because some relationships need to be reciprocal, right? So I think that's probably, to answer your question, the one thing that keeps reoccurring. And that is, who do you have in your life? What are the depths of those relationships? How are they changing in a way that allows you to not be so empty after you leave it? But are you both emptying yourself and being refueled at the same time, because the people you are with are supposed to be there to help you be fueled for what you're doing? And you all do that for me in this space.
I wrote that down. I wrote some of that down. That was good.
Amen.
That's gonna have to be a whole
Yeah.
episode.
I know, right? Like,
Yeah, because I have some thoughts on that. We're going to come back to
I
that.
know, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
unpacking this is going to be the crazy thing is, like, we're going to have to rewatch all of our interviews so we can like really unpack some things to really see what we like. Yeah, because like I know Johnny's interview, like there's still stuff I'm still kind of resonate with me. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, I get it. That works. I understand this about you. Same thing, CT. I definitely think we got a lot more to unpack.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do that throughout the season, right? We're gonna
I'm
do
ready.
that throughout the season. Yeah, because season 2, y'all, we bringing it to you. This is the reason why we starting here. You know what I'm saying? We starting here so we can take it to the next space.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So this is my last question for you, CT. And I kind of want to play the same thing that I did with Johnny. And I want to ask, because you have been in a transitional period in the last few months, I would say. I know you've been really ramping up and sharpening certain skills and tools for the next leg of the journey, which I already know. We've discussed this. Like, the crazy thing is how we met and how we got to this point between us. Like, it's similar to what like when I tell the story of Johnny, or I let Johnny tell her story. Our story is pretty similar. Where it's like, we worked in this space. We had one plan. I was like, yo, I'm about to go do X so we can go do Y. And he was like, all right. And I came back with X, was like, we ready? You was like, why not? And then here we are, right? So season 2, doing it. But the question I have for you is, there's a future CT, and he needs to hear what the current CT may need to tell him. What is your message to motivate the future you, CT?
to motivate the
Talk
future.
your talk, baby. Talk your talk. What he saying the Christmas thing? Don't stop, get it.
Don't stop, get it.
Get it.
I want to give Johnny's answer like, to get off this question. No,
right.
So let me say this first, and then let me work to answer your question.
Okay.
One of the things that I've worked really hard to do is to live so specifically in the present that I oftentimes don't. I refuse some days to think about the future, because when I was younger, I was ambitious. I was always thinking about the future, and I missed present moments.
Yeah.
And so I'm so intently focused on the present that I oftentimes lose sight of the fact that because tomorrow isn't promised, that I'm focused on anything that is for tomorrow. But to your question, if I was giving my future self some advice, I would tell him to trust the path you're on. Don't stop letting yourself be okay with you, and everything that you have been through had a purpose, reason. Use it. Like, use it.
Yeah.
There was a thing my wife and I were doing the other day. We were in our walk, and we walk every day, and she said, it all counts, right? And sometimes the things that aren't so great that happen, we try to discount them. But all of it counts for something. And if my future self needed to know something, he needs to know that all of the stuff that you went through and all the stuff that you're going to go through to get to that point matters, and you need to use it, because somebody needs to know how you got through it, because they are probably going through something similar. And if they can know that you made it and it was okay, then it's okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's the way that I would think about it. And sometimes it's difficult right now. This is just where I'm at right now, is that I'm so keenly focused on desiring and wanting to be present that I oftentimes don't think about what needs to happen tomorrow, even though it is necessary to have goals and to focus on something. And like, I get all of that stuff. But the essence of where I'm at right now is that I'm loving and learning to love on a walk the moment when I'm sitting across from somebody, that moment, and knowing that I'm never going to get that back. And the more present I am in those moments, then it gives me the ability to know that people know that I'm genuine with them. There's a sincerity about what we're doing together in that moment. And it helps me to, if they have a question, I can actually answer the question they're asking me, not trying to think about all the other stuff that comes with it. So I don't know. That's my answer. I don't know that there's probably something else I could give to that, but
that's exactly what I expected. I mean, we've rocked for some time now, and I know that you are in the moment, in the presence person, which is why originally this question was set up for you, but I just had to interview Johnny first. But yes, I definitely wanted to hear your perspective on talking to the future self, because I know how you feel about, like, tomorrow ain't promised, man. So I'm not about to sit here and write a whole list of X, Y, and Z for a day that I'm not guaranteed. I got you. But if there was something you need to say, I appreciate what you did tell yourself, because yes, I watched that video, and I definitely agree with you. And Mel, spot on for it all counts. Like, everything we do adds up. So it all goes on the same scale at the end of the day, right? And the tail tells the truth, because it all stacks. So okay, Johnny, I will pass it over to you. If you have the last question, you get to shoot the final shot. Pow, 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 pow.
Okay, so I'm going to end it the way that CT started off my interview. So with just some rapid fire questions, and we know they are supposed to be just off the top of the chocolate dome.
Let's go.
All right, here we go. I thought that was funny, y'all. Did y'all?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. That was real good.
I didn't want to make eye contact. I was just trying to like put it there and then like let it go and see what happened, and it worked. Okay. All right. So we're gonna keep it. Someone keep simple. Someone whatever. All right. First one. What's your favorite TV show?
My favorite TV show right now.
Yep.
My favorite
all
TV
time,
show.
All time.
Woo. The Power series.
Okay, the Power series.
Power series.
Good. Yeah.
Mhm.
Good. Very good.
Yeah.
All right.
Or Snowfall. Power series or Snowfall. Yeah.
I can see why you chose them too.
Oh, those are good. Okay. Let me just keep asking the question. I'm not gonna talk about shows. I get sidetracked, y'all. Talking
Yeah,
about
we can tell Sex in the
TV
City.
and movies. Yeah,
I know, right?
Damn, that's not. I'm a film and video major. Okay.
Yes.
What's your favorite song, singer?
Oh, my favorite song.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Just one.
Because I love music, it is hard to say one song.
Mm-hmm.
Which one that resonates with you the most?
So the song that used to be my favorite song whenever I got asked this question, this was some years ago. There's a guy named Fred Hammond, and he wrote a song called "Running Back to You," and it was a gospel song, and it was one of those songs, y'all, that because I'm a non-perfect person, a sinner saved by grace, and there would be moments when I would not be the perfect self that I am. I would need to run back to him. So that became my song. And I would sing that song probably more than I needed to. But when people ask me to come sing at churches and whatnot, that would be the song.
That would be the
I would
song.
sing. That would be the song that I would sing back in the day. Yeah. Anyway.
I love it. I love it. Okay, good one. Good one. Okay. Can't read my own handwriting. Okay. You are standing in front. You are getting ready to stand in front of thousands of people in a stadium, getting ready to speak. Your nerves are starting to bubble up a little bit, but you're calling on yourself to be courageous. What's the first thing you do?
I'll listen to music. Listen to a song.
Is it Running Back to You?
It is right now. It is not. There's a guy named Todd Galbert that has a song that says "He Won't Fail," and that's my song right now. That I literally, before I do a presentation in front of 400 people or a presentation around 12, and even if it's on Zoom, I will play a little bit of that song before I get started, because if he won't fail, that means I can't fail. So anything that I put my hands to do is possible. So then I walk into everything that I do with a level of possibility in my heart. So
love it. What's the last book you read?
Oh man. So I read like 20 books last year, but the one that resonates, not the last one, let me do it. It's called The Mountain Is You. And it's about self-sabotage. And it was so, like, the depth of that book, even going into last year, was me having to reflect on where I was getting in my own way, where there was things that I wanted to accomplish or things that I say that I wanted to do, and then didn't realize that I was actually the self-talk that I had, the as they say, imposter syndrome, right? That people would talk about, the affirmations that I was declaring even over myself weren't reflective of something that was forward facing and possible. And so I didn't realize I was sabotaging my own self, and that the mountain in the way was me. And so it caused some internal reflection to say, wait a minute. So when E showed up to say, hey, you want to do this pod, I was out of my way. I'd finished reading that book. It was just like, it was now a matter of saying no. It was like the answer had to be yes, because what was in front of me was much better than the mountain that was behind me. And so that particular book was one that resonated with me. So to your question, not the last one, but the one that resonated the most in 2023 was that one.
All right. Last one. Finish the sentence. Love is
God. Love is me.
Yep.
Love is you. Love is E. We are, right? And when we show up in who we are, that's what love looks like.
Yeah. Love it.
I love that question. Thank you, Johnny.
Oh man.
Good one.
Okay. All right. I mean, Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to go ahead and say, let's give it up for Johnny, my lead, CT, and myself around the board, because like it takes a lot to be able to sit in front of people and answer questions about yourself, but to just willingly give what we gave is a testament to who we are wanting to be for people. We want to be honest. We want to be real. You know, there's a certain level of this podcast that we really focus on being genuine and not scripted. And that is the point of that. And the purpose of that is to be very intentional in how we present ourselves. We are not fake people. This is not something we're doing to get likes and all of that stuff. Like, we genuinely have a desire to give back, all three of us, in the ways that we're doing. But this is one of the ways that we chose to do it together. So imagine CT wants to be an exceptional person that gives out to the world. Johnny wants to be an exceptional person that gives out to the world. And E wants to be an exceptional person to give out to the world. And instead of doing it as individuals, we said we were going to do it here for you on EMM. So welcome to Easy Monday Motivation, where we are here to make your year full of cheer. We're going to go ahead and do our final thoughts as we wrap up our last interview. I know. My freestyles, like, sometimes you like, hey, he be hitting it bars.
Beat on some of those. Do a mashup, beat on some of those.
Yeah.
On everything. Don't worry, because we'll have a special episode at some point. Will be a music video that we shoot them up. We'll have put a whole song together. Fluff on the dance. Okay. All right. So CT, I'm gonna come to you. You got any final thoughts? I know you did a lot of talking as far as interviewing, but you got any final thoughts that you want to share with our listeners and watchers?
The only thing I would say is I'm just grateful that people are interested, and that you stop by to listen, and you're just as important to this conversation as we are. And so thank you for providing your perspective, showing up, giving us some of your ways that even in the questions that we've asked in the last 3 episodes of each other, maybe you all could throw something in the comments or send up something out to us to let us know how you all are experiencing the world, and how this pod isn't just motivating us when you give it, but the people who are listening. Sometimes we might say something that doesn't resonate as well, but if you say something in the comments or you follow up that somebody's listening, they may now be inspired because you showed up and you gave of yourself too. And so in the spirit of giving, we want to continue to give. Thank you for what you do give. And hopefully, as I know, hope is not a strategy, as we continue through this exercise where we're showing up with you and for you, that it grows in a way that the impact hits more people. So thank you.
Yeah. Johnny Malish.
I guess I just want to say, as we conclude our series of interviews of each other, such a perfect way to kick off season 2. But I think all of us understand that our stories matter and it helps people. So yes, we were having fun and sharing some of our experiences, but we just don't know who can relate and see themselves in us and maybe motivated to do the next thing, whatever that looks like. And so I just appreciate both of you for being vulnerable and sharing yourselves, and that just encourage people to like listen, take what works for you, and just continue to win and be great, and maybe they will be inspired to share their stories with someone else, with the next person.
Okay.
I love it. Guys, you have done an excellent job. Thank you so much for tuning in. All of the listeners and the followers and viewers, you can follow us on our social media platforms. We're on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You're also streaming on major sites where you can listen to podcasts such as Apple Podcast and Spotify and other places. So please like, follow, share, comment, be a part of the conversation. That's what we're looking for. That's the reason why we call it easy, because we just want to make it easy for people to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And then we also have created a whole movement. You guys are motivationers. you now have an additional purpose that we are passing on to you to cascade the motivation that we're giving you outward. And as a motivational, it is our job to motivate those people around us. So in season 2, just know that we're dependent on you to show up and show out as well, because that's the whole point of what we're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and give the love that is due. Thank you, CT. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Cam. Thank you, all of our listeners. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Oh, no, thank you. I appreciate being here with you guys. This is going to be a fun season. The interviews just started it, but we're going to have a lot of fun topics. February, we got Black History Month. We're going to be talking about a lot of love and loving things. We also are going to get to some subjects that I think are going to be very important. We're going to talk about mothering and fathering. I know those are some things that came up in the conversation with me, Johnny, and CT's interviews. We're going to talk about mothering and father. We're going to interview mothers and fathers. We're going to really try to get to the core of things. If you have any comments, or if you have any topics or subjects you would like to hear, reach out to us. We're on, like I said, we're on all social media platforms. If you reach out to us as individuals, you can find our stuff. If you reach out to us, we'll pull your stuff in as best as possible, but we're listening and we're here for you. So with that said, thank you so much for tuning in. You have a wonderful night, and you can just chill to the next episode. Peace.
Bye, y'all.